It looks like many students around the world are heading back to school, and we might be next. I kind of enjoyed my time with online school. Other than the lagging and the occasional awkward silence that followed a science question, online school was fun. On this week's episode of Headlines, we'll be looking at some COVID-19 updates, India-China border tensions, USA wildfires, anger management issues on the tennis court, the people standing between us and a collapse of mankind, and finally, a McDonald's burger that just doesn't seem to expire. Welcome to Headlines. First, some COVID-19 updates. The World Health Organization recommended the use of cheap, everyday steroids for the treatment of severely ill COVID-19 patients after an analysis of data found that they reduced deaths by more than a third. The US passed 6 million total cases, and India reported 2 million infections in August, the highest monthly tally for any country since the outbreak of the virus. It has recorded more than 4.5 million cases in total, and its GDP shrank by nearly 24% in the most recent quarter. In many countries, students are returning back to school. For example, after seeing a decline in cases, Hong Kong students will be heading back to school on September 23rd. International school students will be back by the end of the month. New York City postponed the reopening of its schools as it resolved a dispute with teachers regarding over-testing for COVID-19. Not academics. A 10-day-long motorbike rally that started on August 7th drew almost 500,000 riders to Sturgis, a little town in the US state of South Dakota. This is the biggest super spreader event that we know of. Scientists crunched the numbers and worked out that the rally was linked to 265,000 COVID-19 cases and cost 12.2 billion USD in public healthcare. Wonder if those bikers can be billed. Overall, the US, India, Brazil, Russia, and Peru are the top 5 countries on the COVID-19 case board. India-China tensions flared up after a supposed kidnapping near the Indo-China border on Monday night. 5 men were allegedly abducted by the People's Liberation Army near the country's hotly disputed border in the Himalayas, according to an Indian army official who made the statement on Sunday. India and China also exchanged fire for the first time in 45 years. Both parties claimed that the other shot first, but it seems clear that both sides did. The bullets were the first to fly along the vast Himalayan frontier between the nuclear-armed neighbors in 45 years. Wildfires are raging all across California and are blazing into other US states as well. One fire was caused by a gender reveal party in Southern California after partygoers got a bit too excited when they heard the words "it's a boy" and started playing around with pyrotechnic devices. The fires have spread all the way to Northern California and are spreading out of the state as well. The sky is a murky gray in Nevada as smoke from the fires carried over to the state west of California. And things don't look very good in Oregon as fires rage through the state north of California. Novak Djokovic, the world #1 tennis player from Serbia, was disqualified from the US Open last Sunday after he inadvertently struck a line judge in the throat with a tennis ball. Djokovic was quite angry after losing a point in a match that really wasn't going his way, and so he swatted a ball in frustration but didn't look to see where it was going. Unfortunately, it didn't end up where he wanted it to be. Djokovic tried dodging the disqualification by saying that the action was an accident and he didn't actually mean to hit the line judge, but the referee turned this down. Djokovic is expected to lose over 180,000 euros and will not receive any ranking points from the US Open. Keeping with tennis, Naomi Osaka continued to highlight racial injustice in the US by wearing a mask displaying the name of George Floyd before her quarterfinal win at the US Open. Floyd was the African-American who died as a white police officer knelt on his neck in Minneapolis in May. It was the 5th of 7 face coverings the former champion has brought to Flushing Meadows. She's now into the semi-finals and will hopefully be able to use all 7 of her masks in the US Open. Wired magazine released its list of Wired 25, the people who they think are standing between us and the collapse of the human species. This eclectic collection of politicians, scientists, technologists, artists, and chefs are the ones that the editors at Wired think are making the world a better place. There are familiar names: Tim Apple, Google Pichai, Then there are the trio of Tsai Ing-wen, Chen Qian-jen, and Audrey Tang, who are credited with eradicating COVID from Taiwan and ensuring the trust that people there have in their institutions. Then there's Dr. Anthony Fauci from the US, who's been working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week since the beginning of February, but only managed to become a lightning rod in a divided USA. At just 17 years old, Avi Scheifman from the USA thought the government's coronavirus tracking sites sucked. So he made ncov2019.live, which has attracted 1.7 billion unique visitors, and he's rejected millions of dollars in ads to keep his site bias and distraction free. Eric Yuan took Zoom from a corporate meeting website to hosting birthday parties, weddings, graduation ceremonies, and even happy hours. Sarah Fryer made Nextdoor, the hyperlocal relationship site which combats misinformation and amplifies local Samaritans. Vijaya Gade, Twitter's top lawyer, slapped Trump's tweets with the misinformation label. And my favorite, Sarah Cooper, who won bigly with her lip syncs of Above Said President. McDonald's recently posted a statement on its website soon after a recent TikTok video featuring its food had gone viral. The video shows a woman's reveal of a McDonald's hamburger and fries that she claims has been in her closet for more than 20 years without rotting or decomposing. I mean, this burger is older than me. The only problem here is this. McDonald's response to the myth that their burgers don't decompose sounds like a confused business student. In the right environment, our burgers, like most other foods, could decompose. Could? Yikes. McDonald's is telling us that in the right environment, one where basically any other normal food on earth would decompose, the company isn't really sure if its food would. Now, what's in the burgers that make them so resilient? I'm not sure I want to find out. This isn't the first time a person has tested the ability for Mickey D burgers to decompose. In January this year, a man's 21-year-old hamburger from McDonald's went viral, but he didn't keep it deliberately. Rather, it was left in a coat pocket which was never worn and preserved in a tin when he found out about it. On that note, those are your headlines for this week. I'll see you next time on Headlines.